Hello you lovely people, we are on a CBR 600 F4I. Is that the word for it? PNG? I don't know what that says on the side. We're on an F4I basically. Before they switched over from the carbureted, they went to the F4I from the old 600F, 3, 4, all that sort of stuff. So I've been giving this for a couple of days because if you follow this channel, I crashed my carbureted version. So we've got a fuel injected version for a couple of days thanks to my mate. And I was like, you know what, while I've got it, I've ridden it for a good 2 whole days now. And I've got a real sense of what the bike's like, and I thought, why not do a cheeky review on the bike? Because I know when I was shopping around for bikes, I wanted to see it and have a nice raw look around the bike and then a nice raw ride. We're going to go through town, we're going to hit some back roads, and then we'll hit some dual carriageway main roads, and we'll see how the bike performs in each one of those areas. And then I'll tell you bits about what I've liked about it so far riding it, bits I don't like about it, all that sort of stuff. So if you're looking to buy one of these, it's an excuse to convince yourself, because I know why. That's why you're on YouTube, because I did the same thing. You're just on YouTube trying to convince yourself that you need the bike. You do. So yeah, this is it. Let's have a look around it. I don't know what an exact year it is. I'll message him and put all the details on screen about specs and all that sort of stuff, but that's not how I do things. I'd rather just ride it and show you the bike rather than talk about stats. But yeah, looks wise, the CBRs, they don't change much. Obviously the front nose can from the old model, from the carbureted model, is a bit different. It's got a nice sort of more pointy, sort of aggressive sort of look. They went with these nice painted air ducts, whereas the carbureted versions, mine are plastic, which is not that great. But yeah, mate, CBRs, they're just CBRs, aren't they? They look all this, kind of look the same, and they're timeless. So I love them. They all look sick. I love the Hondas, man. Absolutely love it. Nice colour variations. I think they did 4 colour variations in this one. Really, really nice. That's kind of a walk around of what the bike looks like. I'm going to do a sound test, but it's not my bike, so I'm not going to redline it because that would be rude. So wait for the fuel pump to go on. This has got a Delcovic system on it, I think. Pretty sure it's all the way through. It's got the baffle in it, but even with the baffle in, let's give it a little blip. You know what I mean? They're throaty bikes, mate. They sound really, really good. The fuel injection definitely sounds better than the carbureted, because I've got the carbureted. This sounds better. Yeah, they sound great, especially when you wind them up as well as they start screaming, because these things, like that top power band is where these 600s live, and it really, really does pick up as you start to move. So let me throw on my helmet, my lovely new shiny Rossi inspired helmet. I am Valentino Rossi, even though I crashed 3 weeks ago. But yeah, let me throw on my helmet, and then we'll take this through the 3 stages of testing it, and give you a good experience of what it's like before you go and convince yourself to buy one. Cool, so this is kind of what you can expect to look at when you get on one. I love the dash. It's got a nice digital dash. Mine doesn't have that, so you've got the nice lights. Still doesn't have a gear indicator or a fuel gauge. Just give you the fuel light when it's running out of fuel, which we might actually need to fuel up soon. But it doesn't actually have any of those things. I don't know why they put it on it. It's so annoying. It's also pretty sure it's the same as my bike. It doesn't have any traction control. Nearly dropped it then. Doesn't have any traction control, no ABS. This is raw. This is an engine and 2 wheels, which I do like, I do prefer. But it is also a bit risky, as I found out 3 weeks ago. It's, you know, when you need that ABS, it does come in handy. But either way, we are on the bike. We're riding. Do you want to buy it yet? I did this all the time, but I could just never find a video with like a good camera and someone really just talking about it and just riding it and showing it in different areas. They just all were trying to do all this crazy stuff, and I just wanted to see the bike for what it is. So I hope this video helps you, and is what you were looking for on YouTube before you go to buy one. First thing you'll notice when you jump on one of these is how smooth it is. Oh, it's just buttery smooth. All the way down from 3,000 RPMs in 6th gear, this thing will wind on power like it's butter, mate. You will not believe. Let's get into top gear now. So I'm in top gear right now, about 45 miles an hour. Ready? Look at that. Smooth, 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 smooth. It's just immaculate. These bikes, one, are tanks. You know what I mean? You can rely on a Honda for years. My bike's 25 years old, my actual bike. and it works like a dream until I crash it. But it works like a dream normally. Well, no, I have crashed it and it still runs. Do you know what I mean? I flew it over a roundabout and it still runs. Hondas are built, mate. They are built different, and they're smooth, mate. They're so smooth. We might get a fly on us at some point today. I'm sorry if we do. What we're going to do first is we're going to tackle town riding. So if you're a commuter and you want to maybe have one of these bikes, but you do a lot of town riding, you want to get out on the weekend from the back roads, majority of your riding is commuting through these sorts of, like, I wouldn't say this is like a tight city, but like a smallish town like I live in. You know, you want to be able to make sure you can use it. And to be honest, I've ridden my bike, which is basically the same as this. It is fine. I'm just going to show you it's fine. It, like rush hour and all that sort of stuff, all bikes are the same really in town. It's just, it might be a little bit more uncomfortable because you're in that sort of aggressive position, and like a little bit less maneuverable. But it's not impossible. People make out like that it's impossible to ride a bike like this through town. It's not. It's really not. I'm going to make this a longer video as well, so you really get to experience the full works and it doesn't cut off before you before you want it to. So we'll do a nice quick blip through town, and then I'll cut to the dual carriageway or the back roads. We'll link all three together today. Fuel wise as well, I think I've heard through the rumour mill that the F4I is not that great on fuel. Don't hold me to it, but it's just what I've heard. I need to ask the owner, to be fair, see what he says. But I've heard that they're not great on fuel. My carbureted version apparently is a bit better than this one. Maybe that's just because of the higher horsepower and it's putting out a bit more performance. Who knows? But you don't buy a bike like this to do 300 miles to a tank, do you? You buy this bike to have a good time. And then what? A full tank of the good stuff is like 25 quid. Don't put the bad stuff in it. Don't do that. But the good stuff is like what? 25 quid? Not that bad. You do it. I mean, sometimes I fill up twice a day, which is sad to say, but it is true, and I don't care. Smiles per gallon, mate. But yeah, it's not exactly the most fuel economy bike to buy, but you're buying a bike for the wrong reason, mate. It's to have fun on. The good thing about these though is low end, there's no bogginess, it's nice and smooth. You can sit at 30 comfortably and not feel like the bike is in the wrong scenario, like it doesn't want to be here. It doesn't mind it. You can sit here comfortably at 3,000. I'd struggle a bit more on my carbureted version, but on this fuel injected version I can chill at 25 miles an hour, nearly 2,500 revs, barely anything, and it's chilling. Look, it'll sit here all day. We're at 83 degrees Celsius or whatever the temperature is that we use, and it's fine. It's chilling, absolutely chilling, mate. Well, you could do this all day. It doesn't mind it. It really is not that big a deal. Don't let that discourage you either. It's smooth through these parts. Because yeah, you're a bit lent over, but these bikes, the F4I is the same as my bike, it's a sports tourer. So as you see, the clip-ons are on top of the yoke, they're not underneath it. So it's a lot more comfortable. Let's go left. It's a lot more comfortable than your average sport bike. They're a little bit more bearable for this sort of stuff and long distances because of those clip-ons being on the top. It's really, really nice. Wait, why am I sat in traffic? What am I doing? I'm on a sport bike. I'm on a bike in general. Let's do some nimble filtering. As you can see, nimble filtering. Yeah, it's not a naked bike, but you can still move in and out of traffic. It's not impossible. Yeah, it's a little bit more like, you just got to take it a bit slower. You just can't like whip it as much. It's not. It is plenty, mate. It's fine. Just filter through this. Scoot. Scoot. We're going to go straight. Oh look, another sports bike. Yeah, but don't get me wrong, if I had to do this every day, it'd get a bit like, I don't know, I'd be more enjoyed on a naked bike if I was just in these sort of areas all the time. Because it'd be more playful power, do you know what I mean? Like this is like low end, there's not a lot of power here to play with. Like there's no torque to sort of jump on and off of the bike like an MT-07 would be. But it's still fine, it's still usable. You don't need to redline it anywhere. It almost makes you a safer rider, I guess, because you're not having to redline it. You don't really need to be. It will probably keep you a bit tamer, because if you had an MT-07 with loads of torque, you'd want to jump around town and pop the wheel up and go a bit nuts. So I guess this would even calm me down a bit through town, because you can't really use it anyway. You have to get up to about 7,000 RPMs to feel the power. I will say as well, what I've noticed on this bike compared to mine is it's a little bit more narrow on the F4I. This could just be the way the positions have been put on, the clip-ons have been put on, but it does feel a bit more narrow. Like the clip-ons for your feet, they're a bit higher. The bars are a bit more narrow inwards and a bit shorter lengthwise compared to mine on the carbureted one. My knees are a little bit more sort of, I don't know, it just feels a little bit tighter, a little bit more narrow of a bike in terms of like the ergonomics of it. It's a little bit, I'd say it's a little bit taller maybe as well. I'm 5'8". I mean 5'7.5", let's be honest, but let's just round it up to 5'8", 5'11", fuck it. I'm 5'8", and I can tiptoe it, but with my heels hovering above the floor. Does that make sense? So I'm not flat foot, but I'm not on the top of my tiptoes. I'm like halfway, relaxed feet, heels just above the floor. That's kind of where I sit when on this bike. It doesn't feel too tall. Let's put it that way. Any smaller, then yes, I guess you would be on your tiptoes. But like right now, I could put both feet on the floor, but my heels are hovering off the floor. But I can put my feet down comfortably. Love putting it into neutral. Gearbox though, gearbox is nice and tight. Honda gearboxes are always, all the Hondas I've ridden, tried, they're always the same. You can notice a Honda gearbox, they're really tight and notchy. I love it. Really, really nice. He's got the aftermarket levers on here. I do like the stock levers better, the silver ones. I just feel like they've got more grab on them. They are really, really nice, but still, these are great. And that throttle is nice and smooth. Like I can just rest on here nicely on that throttle with the palm of my hand. Yeah, town riding, I'd give it a tick. Town section, I think it's fine. You'll be alright. If you're around this sort of area like you're looking at now, and you're around country roads you can also go on, yeah, this bike will be fine. Don't worry about it. Let's skip to the next part, which will be dual carriageway. Cool. So we're jumping on the dual carriageway. I guess first thing we should speak about is wind noise, I guess. And just make sure I'm recording. Yeah, wind, I mean, it's better than a naked bike. Don't get me wrong, there's still wind. It's more like the top half of your shoulders and your head, unless you've got like a double bubble screen. This is quite a direct screen. You can get more of a sharper double bubble that makes the wind go a little bit more just to your head. But I mean, you're gonna get wind on any bike regardless, unless you're on like a fucking GS Triumph, BMW, do you know what I mean, like the big adventure bikes. You're gonna get wind, but nowhere near as much as a naked bike. This is definitely bearable. This is completely fine, and it's comfy as well. I can happily sit at 70, about 5,500 revs, so just underneath the power band, in 6th gear, and I'm chilling. And because the clip-ons are above, I can do the one hand. I have to put my hand that low to grab the throttle, and I can just chill here. If you watch my channel, I have obviously the same bike but carbureted. We do miles on these group rides sometimes, like 7 hours of riding, and I'm fine. My back's fine. Sport bikes are not that uncomfortable. It depends what one you go for. These ones are like a sports tourer, so they're way more comfier because they're made to be a bit more upright. It's mainly my knees that get a bit achy after a while on long journeys, but upper body, I'm normally fine because you have the wind picking your chest up anyway for you, and then like I say, the clip-ons are above, so you can just not have to reach that far. And I'm literally sat upright as if I was on a naked bike. Oh, I just burped. As if I was on a naked bike. My hands are not here, they're just here. Not here, they're here, as opposed to here. If I was on a sports bike like with lower clip-ons, my hands would be down here, and I'd be a lot more leant over. I probably couldn't do this. I could just chill. I'm chilling, and I could keep going and going and going like we do. I put 10,000 miles on my last bike and I was fine. Never was, like, don't get me wrong, my back every now and then after like 7 hours obviously, but if you've got to do like a 2-hour commute, you'll be absolutely fine, mate. Dual carriageway riding on these sorts of bikes, they're fine, and they don't rev that high to where it's annoying. You should be able to get some decent miles out of it fuel wise. I think it's fine. Dual carriageway gets another tick, mate. This bike's an all-rounder. It is. They're sports tourers. They can do it all. It's a little sweet spot. And it's a little sweet spot for insurance as well. Because this is not like a double R, it's like a F4I, or it's an F4 if you get the carbureted one. They're not like a double R, so the insurance companies don't deem them as to be that popular race bike. As soon as you put an R behind the bike, then your insurance goes flying. But this is not actually that bad. If it's anything like mine, my bike was my first big bike, literally basically my first bike. And it was only 800 for the year, and as a new rider that is not that bad, like really not that bad. So insurance you'll find is actually alright for these sorts of bikes. They're really nice, which will save you some pennies. So dual carriageways tick, towns are tick. Where this bike really comes alive is obviously these country roads, and being able to lean this bike over and really play with the power. Stretch it out a bit, have a bit of fun with it. That's where you can really feel the fun parts of this bike. Why is this guy slowing down so much? But yeah, taking it around these nice back roads where this bike really comes alive, and you can have some real fun on it. Because you can just dip it into all these nice corners. Obviously I can't go crazy right now, if you know why, do you know what I mean? I can't go crazy on YouTube. But trust me, from owning one, you can really push these bikes to their limits around these corners, and they will hold. They will hold. They're tight, they curve over the bumps, they tip in like nothing else, and they are quick. Once you start screaming up into that power band, they are quick and flickable. This is where this bike was meant to be, do you know what I mean? You can do all the other stuff, don't get me wrong, but this is where it wants to be. It's a big difference. It's the perfect all-rounder, I truly believe it. The Honda CBR's sports tourers, they're the perfect all-rounder. Like even this corner here, we can sort of dip it into this corner a little bit now. Just lean it over ever so slightly and carry the nice speed in that. Oh, it's a great bike for these sorts of roads. It really does love it. Absolutely loves it. Especially when I took it to Wales, mate. Their country roads were like silk. It was like a track, and you could just swing this thing round. They're so light when it comes to the corners. It's just so easy to control, and so predictable. They really are predictable. I love it. This bike's amazing. Yeah, sorry that I can't go like, you know, balls to the wall, but you get what I'm saying. You've seen people do it, and I've owned mine for 11 months, and I can tell you for sure that this is the bike you want for the back roads, and to then be able to go through town, and to be able to do long journeys. This is it for all of it. So yeah, if you've been looking for a Honda CBR 600 F4I, there's your video explaining all 3 areas that you'll run into. There's no reason not to get it really, unless you live in London. It's a great bike. I would, especially for your first bike, this is definitely one to go for, or even the carbureted version, because you'll save yourself some money. Trust me, you don't need the double R straight away. This is plenty. Like, this thing picks up, trust me. This thing's quick. Yeah man, that's my little review on the old F4I. If you're considering whether to get the carbureted version of this or not, I've actually got a video about that already out, me talking about the differences between my bike, which is the model before this, that's carbureted, or the fuel injected version. So if you're struggling to see which one you want, because some are cheaper, then go watch that video, and I'll give you a bit more insight. Alright, yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. I enjoyed making it. Subscribe if you want, and I'll see you guys in the next video.